serious way sacred. That's the only home we have. Long before, now we can see the Earth as a blue planet, which is source of inspiration for us. And since Earth is so important, family is so important, the body is so important, that human being is embodied in the existential situation. If you try to get rid of your gender, your ethnicity, your particular conditions, and you already abandon your concrete way of learning to be human. And of course, Mencius made it clear that the kind of inner sense of morality is unique. It is not our ordinary emotions. It's not anger, joy, the kind of passion that Kant rejects, or the kind of moral sense that Adam Smith believed is important. It's something deeper. It's not just our general feelings. It's something, it's our sense of sympathy. And the sense of sympathy, no matter how hard we try to cultivate it, there's always room for further cultivation. The more sympathetic we become, the better. But other emotions will have to be shaped, will have to be harmonized. Anger, joy, all these feelings will have to be harmonized. But that unique feeling of sympathetic resonance with the outside world, of course, by implication, there's also a sense of rightness, a sense of civility, even a sense of knowing. So I can say each human being has the capacity to feel, to will, to know, and to sense. Sense, of course, is idiosyncratic in Confucian. That is the idea of ritual practice. So long as you're capable of feeling, your ability to be sympathetic is not lost. So far as you've been able to will, your ability to cultivate yourself is assured. Because, the commander of the three armies can be snatched away, but the will of a commander is there. I used this example before. You imagine there's one thing. If you want it, you get it. There's only one thing in the world. Nothing else. You want, you get it. There's an intermediary structure, though there are external conditions. There's only one thing. If you want, you get it. This is this. Your will, your ability to feel, your ability to know, and your ability to sense. If you want to differentiate these four, I'm doing this. These two major qualities of being human is feeling and willing. I don't think you can give me an example that a human being is no longer being able to feel. Of course we do. We become so paralyzed, we don't like to feel anything. Even at the worst possible situation, you can still feel. If something dramatic happens, you have a sense of shock, sense of alarm. So willing is also irreducible. So knowing is to know these two, willing and feeling, are part of you. This is the perception. And the most radical, not most radical, most extreme case of knowing as a transformative act. If you see a beautiful flower, you like it. And there's no gap between your perception of the beautiful flower and your feeling of delight. You say, okay, I see, it's beautiful. Or then I try to say I liked it. I eat nice food. I tried it. And then I say, I like it. Of course, possible, but normally, the minute you taste it, your sense of likeness or dislikeness will be part of it. Especially the perception of seeing flowers. That's one example. So, yes?
So, maybe this is getting too picky, but certain foods people say are like an acquired taste.
That's why I changed my mind about food, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So acquired taste, you're absolutely right. Is there an acquired sense of seeing something beautiful? I think it's a little bit difficult, right? If you see a flower, you like it. And you say, well, I don't know whether I like rose or not. You can do that. But that is a reflection, different from what you do. You know, this is also the case if you see a child fall into the well. Before you reflect upon it, already the sense of alarm is there. That's the indication that you're capable of a sympathetic relationship to the child.
But do you think these perceptions like could change over time? Like
absolutely.
Okay.
No, they change over time, all kinds of things. Okay. Now, what Mencius is trying to say, let's say this moment, the first started, people like us are totally desensitized, totally egocentric, and totally incapable of helping anyone. You know, this, of course, Mencius in the world of warring states. Some people, like 400 people, were buried alive. It's a really brutal place, much more so than our world today. And people like that. The other criteria or the idea is you suddenly are exposed to something. It's not something that you have a lot of time to think about. For example, a child is about to fall into the well. Suddenly you see that as a commoner of that warring states period. And the only things you feel alarm is suddenly you feel, from a Mencian point of view, that sense being alarmed is the source of you're able to cultivate yourself. You remember the whole case with the cow, right? The king was concerned about the cow being led to sacrifice, and he felt uneasy, so he changed the cow, changed the cow to the lamb, and because it didn't see the lamb. Mencius said that's good. If you're able to do that, there's no reason why you cannot develop a sympathetic understanding of your people. You can even respond to animals. Right? But right now, today, I think it's very easy for us. You walk out, suddenly there's an accident. Someone get hurt. And you may not do anything. You just walk away. But when you saw that, there's some kind of response, which is alarm from a Mencian point of view. That's your sprout. That needs to be cultivated. And now, during Kagan, I'm going to have a dialogue with him. I mentioned this before. In terms of a moral self-cultivation, the sense of morality, kids, as young as 2, began to have that sense. How long you will try to allow a kid to become rational? It's a very, very difficult cultivation. Or to allow the kid to be able to become skillful in doing something, even to handle his own limbs or